We should be live everywhere. I think we're live everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we did it. Oh, we did it, I believe. Let's see. We're live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We're live in Discord. We're live. We're live all over the freaking place. All right. Will my computer explode? Maybe. Maybe it will. I have no idea. Nonetheless, good morning. What is up, folks? We're here. All right. This is my first time streaming to 3 different locations, guys. So if you're in the Discord, what's up? If you're on YouTube, what's up? If you're on Instagram, welcome to the party. Follow me everywhere. Check us out in the Discord. So right now in Q's, coming off a little bit. Obviously CPI was today, or maybe it's not obvious, but we had CPI this morning. We had a nice kind of flagging overnight on the 1 hour. Guys, got NQ 1 hour here. ES is on the 1 hour. So we had this kind of very, I guess I'd say it's kind of common, right? Push up higher, right? Pre-data push, right? So we broke the trend line higher, right? Bullish price action. We broke our lower high structure as well, right? Trend line break, lower high break. We stepped forward. We had this big old, what we call in the trading world, dildo candle. Peel back a little bit. Okay, basically like a failed tweezer. There is, if you look to the left, a very similar pattern to this, right? Very, very similar pattern right here. Okay, so this price action here, very similar price action here, right? Popped up, came down a little bit. We did not get that full kind of like lower break here, which was interesting, but this was something that I was eyeballing last night. So I was looking at this to see if we were going to get replay of this or were we just going to continue higher. Obviously, we continued higher. You could have played this initial, kind of impulse. This obviously would have been the best long down here lower. But that's fine. Okay, on the macro, obviously, maybe not obviously, but let's take a look at ES on the daily really quickly. Okay, you should have done this already. We're 29 minutes into the open, but for anybody who hasn't taken a look at the daily chart yet, let's start there. Okay, ES on the daily. Let's get rid of these levels. We can redo all these. Doesn't really matter. ES on the daily. Okay, we had our wumbo pattern. It's a W pattern at the lows. Come up higher. We're still in uptrend, right? We're at all-time highs right now, right? So we're currently above all-time highs, or basically we've put in new all-time highs, and we're consolidating here at these highs. Okay, some pretty tight chop here on the daily. We do have higher lows though, which is key here. Let's go ahead and get our trend tool. Okay, we still do have higher lows, and so we are still uptrending, and we do still have higher highs on the daily. Right, that's key here. So we kind of have this channel that's forming essentially here. If we do come lower, I would look for this bottom trend line to be in play, right? So the first trade idea, well, obviously we have this shelf. I need to stop saying obviously. Okay, it's probably not obvious. That's why you're watching my stream, huh? It's in my vernacular. We have this trend line here, which also has confluence with the edge of this node here. Okay, so these nodes are auctions. In the market, right? So volume at a price, it shows us volume at prices, right? So the bigger these bars are, the more people have participated there. That's important because as auction market theory traders, Okay, we want to know where people are most likely to interact in the market. That's going to be the edges, and it's going to be where the nodes are. Okay, so nonetheless, I'd look for this trend line to be in play. Let's use a better tool for this. Okay, let's say we come up to here, we come down, right? That would be my first trade idea. Okay, it would just be straight up trend line retest. Okay, very, very simple, not complicated. Hopefully, I'm not the first person to give you the idea that you could trade off a trend line. Currently up 200 points, going for 23,290. What's up 23,290? Brother Soul. I do still have, by the way, this measured move on the daily higher up at 23,421, right? So I'm bullish until this price. 290 is getting up top, so it's pretty close. All things considered, house to SPY calls for upside exposure. Nice to gain asymmetric reward. Yeah, I like it. I'm basically long up until 23,421 myself. So I completely agree with that thesis. The best way to play this, by the way, guys, if you're scared on the short side, which is fine because we're in an uptrend, is just wait for any one of these tests lower on the daily, right? If you would have bought lows on the daily, you eventually would be green because we're in an uptrend. This is something that I say on stream pretty often. Okay, playing the trend is the easiest way to be profitable as a trader. Okay, any one of these lows, even if you would have bought in this chop here, and this is going to be a really good example for you non-believers. You're going, well, Forrest, what about the whatever dumbass shit I'm about to say? Well, let me answer that question for you, brother. So let's say you just bought this low, okay? Market plays out, right? You're in some intense chop, right? You're up a couple G's, okay? It's going to come back, pretty sure to break even at some point, right? And you see there's a ton of chop, but then eventually, because we're in an uptrend, you're green, okay? That's how trending price action works. But Forrest, yeah. 23,421 is my price higher on the daily. That's what I'm looking for. Let's see what we got on YouTube. We got Greg, Paolo, SMK Prabhu, SK Prakar, Parvati. We have a lot of people. Yo, shout out what country you're from in the chat. We've got a global audience. It's pretty crazy. Kitana, Rajmani, Muthukumar. I believe I said that correctly. If I missed someone, I'm sorry. Like the stream, help a brother out with the algorithm. Almost 18,000 on YouTube. Turn up. Pretty crazy. I remember when I was trying to get my first 1,000, it seemed impossible. Soul said America. Yes, sir. America, land of the self-proclaimed free and home of the questionably brave. East Coast, USA. There we go. What about the highly sophisticated ABCDEFG thingy? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Sorry, I'm off track. So what do I think is going to happen today? I think we're going to have a grindish move higher. So there's a few things I could see. There's a I almost said obvious. Almost said it, guys. I didn't say it. I caught myself. There is an imbalance below us, right? So we've accumulated a substantial amount of volume right here. Okay, we have what is called a P shape in our volume profile. There was one of these yesterday, by the way. Okay, P-shaped volume profile. So there's an imbalance in yesterday's auction. There's an imbalance from the overnight here. We have kind of this bullish continuation. While there is an imbalance lower, I do want you guys to note that in these bullish moves, this is what we get, right? Here's a P shape that never got filled right here, right? Never got retested, right? So see these in an uptrend, you see the P shape as a bullish move higher. Really the reason that I could see us coming lower is more so due to the slope of the auction. What do you mean, Forrest? Well, on the daily right now, you can see that we are in kind of this daily consolidation. So more so the daily pattern is really in play here, is really what I'm thinking about. Less so the P shape. Now, in terms of, say we start moving lower and I'm looking for an RTH, kind of like, what's my landing zone? How can I snipe the price? That's where the volume profile shape comes into play on the session volume profile, okay? So we can utilize the session volume profile based with what we think is going to happen in the macro to snipe a price, right? For example, we might say, all right, we're going to retest, this day's value area low or something like that, right? That would be a way that we would combine those things together. But there is this imbalance here, okay? So inside this session, if we come for overnight lows, I would expect, this to be in play here. This area, and then, this area down here as well. Filling in those imbalances. Forrest slope, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That's true. That is how slope is calculated. That is how it's calculated. See who we got on Instagram. We got 3 people on Instagram. Not bad for the first time ever. See if we can crank those numbers up. Get to 4. Welcome to the stream, guys. I'll be streaming about 3 days a week on YouTube here, right? So I'm on YouTube. If you want to check me out in the wider format, check me out on YouTube. And in our Discord, we have, starting in August, we have 4 different people who will be streaming. All great traders in their own right. So come check us out in my Discord community. Link is in my bio, or wherever you're watching me, there's a link probably. So what we want to look for here, we have 2 minutes till 10. Okay, there are some key time frames that I talk about, Sol always talks about, that we're always talking about. Okay, the 2 hour and the 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour close is coming up here in a second. 4 hour chart is really the time frame I care about most for trading. Why? Because trades that I get in on the 4 hour, I typically can hold, for most of the day, or even more than a day, honestly, right? So if I get a signal candle, right, in what we call the VPE system, for anybody new here, right, the system that we trade is called the VPE, which is really just trading the volume profile edges, okay? In our system, there are something that we call signal candles. If we get a specific signal candle, which is a doji candle, shooting star, hammer candle, at an edge in the direction of a mean reversion, the next level that you can hold that trade to is literally the other side of the auction. So you literally can trade from edge to edge when you get those signal candles. Do those candles show up all the time? Not necessarily, right? There are plenty of lower quality trades that we can trade, like, for example, trading this range, things like that. Just holding long, swinging long, right? There are trades all over the place. But as far as the system goes, getting a signal on the 4 hour allows you to hold those trades extremely confidently with some nice leverage too, right? So you could bag like 10, 20, 30K on any one of those trades. No problem at all. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. This 4 hour just closed, right? Higher volume top wick, down candle. So I do expect a continuation a little bit lower here. We'll know, right, if this is going to turn into like a flag, this candle should open higher almost immediately and come and fill probably up to 23,198, like 50 fib. So if we're going to give a break in that structure, we should know pretty soon, probably within the first 15 minutes of this candle. The reason that's possible, right, so ES inside here, NQ has broken these this pattern here though, right? So let me get my line tool. Let's clean up our shapes a little bit. We've got a lot going on here. There's only one line that really matters right now. That's obviously not the prior day low. Let me clean that up. So right now, NQ has broken structure a bit. NQ breaks structure more often though. So I do like to use ES as my leader nonetheless. Right, I am expecting a little bit of a downside continuation here as the most probable outcome. Second likely outcome, just due to the flaggy nature of this, is that we get a kind of 4 hour flag that forms here pretty soon. Makes sense. Hope it does. We got Italy in the house. My boy Paolo. What's up, man? Senegalia, I believe. I think I said that. I said that correctly. Hope I said that correctly. Let's get our giveaway up for this week. So I know you guys love free stuff. I know you like the free stuff. Let me grab last week's form. Make a copy of this thing. Make a copy. It is the July 15th giveaway. And there it is. We'll hit publish. Responders is going to be anyone with the link. Alrighty. Publish. Copy the link. All right. That is literally not the link. I don't know what that was. Let's get that out of there. There's a link. Let me go on over to my YouTube squad. Win free. There it is, brother. Free right now. And let's check out people on Instagram. If you want a possibility to win a free prop trading account, there it is. Let me see if we have any more data today. I actually don't know off the top of my head. Didn't look. No, it was just CPI today. CPI today. Tomorrow at 8:30 we have PPI. 8:30, and then we have core retail sales and unemployment claims. The next day and Friday is nothing. Pretty data-driven week, coincidentally. Pretty interesting, if I do say so myself. Oh, my food's here. It's open. There it is. Guy was standing there like, but it's open, brother. It's the power of technology. It's the power of tech right there. Right there, guys. Right freaking there. Let's see what shape plays over. I'll tell you this. If we get a trend line retest down here, this will be the big trade that I want to take, right? We had a nice long, right? This move up here was a nice long. I wouldn't mind another one in the names of DJ Khaled. Okay, if we could capture this move here, there'll be another fatty, right? Another fatty in the bank. I need that. Need that bread. Be another good like 10, 20 G's out of that trade if we get it. And there's that little flagging maneuver that I'm talking about. So we need to see which one of these patterns is going to take over here. Remember in the morning though, we've had very bullish price action, right? So I'm not surprised if we get continuation, just immediate continuation in the day. And measure move higher on the daily. Oh, my food is here. Hold up. Hold up, y'all. You guys can still hear me, but I'm gonna grab my food. Nah, I got it. Thanks, bro. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Food of champions. The daily. All right, guys. Normally I wouldn't eat on stream, but it's just not normal, so. Oh, dang. Just dropped my wrap on the floor, dude. Can you imagine doing that? Imagine dropping your shit on the floor. All right. There it is. Candle opening higher on the 4 hour here. Let's see what happens. So if this flag plays out, we are going to get our measured move to 23,421. That would be the play here, right? We'll just go from here to that measured move target. And I'll get in on some of that action. ES is holding below VAL. So divergence is going here. Let's go to a lower time frame, the 1 hour, real quick. Take a look. Some people may have duplicate signed up. I'll remove the duplicates. No cheaters in the free giveaway. It's tied to your YouTube name, so yeah, there's only going to be one entry. I'll say this. There's only about, I think I've had 50 people on, so your odds of winning are pretty high. I'm giving away 4 accounts a week, you know, so now is the time. If you want some free stuff, now is the time to be locked in. Because as the stream grows, I think this is my 3rd week of being on here sporadically, on my own stream at least. Your odds will go down due to the power of math. That's how math works, folks. So ES needs to crack value area low. Otherwise, this is going to go lower. Very diverged here. So NQ is essentially, I'm sure VWAP is around here. I'm not going to turn it on. So VWAP is probably around 23,167, its current price. So NQ is going across the range, right? This node that's developed, right? Remember, these are people here, right? So we're looking at this indicator, which is volume at prices, right? These are where people are positioned. Okay, so most of the people are positioned here. NQ is traversing that auction. NQ is building a bit of a node lower here, though, right? So we have this value getting built lower. If we continue to build value lower and we don't fill in this low value area here, right, this will turn into a bearish bias on ES, and NQ will probably follow suit. Okay, so I do consider ES the leader 9 times out of 10 on the days when NQ leads. I don't really care. It's just easier to not have to think. So we're going to stick to waiting for these to basically realign with each other before I take another trade. I already took some overnight, so I'm not really sweating it today. I was actually hoping that the 10 a.m. time would be a little bit better of a setup than what it is, but that's fine for an RTH trade at least. The brain off trade, again, is, as a reminder, is just swinging long. Okay, I do want to call that out, right? So as we talk about like the RTH trades, the session-based trades, okay, looking for signal candles and things like that, you would have made, I was at dinner last night with some traders, and a key point that I brought up that I always bring up, because I am Forrest the investor as well. I invest in stuff, and I think that you should too. If you would have longed the low here, let's go to the weekly actually. Let's assume an imperfect entry. Let's assume you got in at the high of this candle, right? You eat 1,600, 1,700 points of drawdown, fine. You're up 3,500 points. Okay, if you would have just longed this weekly signal candle, right? High volume doji that swept the level. okay, on the weekly chart. 3,500 points upside of opportunity. Okay, 1, 2, 3 MNQ, you've made thousands of dollars, which, you know, most of you haven't made. So just keep that in mind. There's nothing wrong with being a swing trader, doing boring stuff. As a matter of fact, the longer that I trade, I'm confident that that's the best way to trade. There's a little flaggy motion. Crack the VAL, see if we start to fill in. If this turns more into a D shape, that's really what I'm looking for here. Where is my tool? Right, I want this to turn more into a normal distribution, right? For anybody who's not familiar with how to trade, okay, when I say a D shape, just think, if you never take stats, open up Google and look up a normal distribution, right? So we want basically one standard deviation of all of our activity to be in the middle. That's all we're looking for. We want it to be around the POC, right? Which will give us a very, very rangy session, okay? The more skewed that is, the more unrangy our price action is going to be, to say the least. Nice little retest of this trend line, right? Resistance becomes support, and it's pushing higher. Pushing a little bit higher. You know what I forgot to stream to, guys? I forgot to stream to TikTok. I should stream to TikTok. I should do it. I should do it. Coach Corner is admin thoughts, just renamed it. Join the stream and click speak on stage to get live, otherwise you remain a viewer. Yep. Hit that speak on stage button. Alon. Join the fray, brother. Get on in here. I need, unfortunately, more screens. I need a monitor just for monitoring my different stream views. I have a 49, you guys can't see it. I have a 49-inch monitor in front of me, ultra wide, which is great. And it's still not enough, you know? It's not enough. Stage. We'll let that do its thing. The only reason I have this on stream, by the way, on YouTube, is because my chat box wasn't working and I needed something to fill that space. So you get to look at my terminal and watch me vibe code some stuff away. All right, so that is that quick. Remember I said in the first 15 minutes of this candle, if it's going to flag, look what time it is. It's 10:15. We're moving higher. Pretty good. We cracked value area low coming up, right? We're going to retest this POC. It's probably is going to traverse this entire range here. So I want to see what time is it? It's 10:16. I'm playing out the rest of the candles in my head is what I'm doing. I'm thinking about what makes the most sense here for the rest of the day. I want ES to pop higher. We could just have a very bullish break here. Let's look for this price, 23,222. See if this breaks as ES comes up. Already filled on Friday. Should I now or no to check? I saw 28 years later. Spent $90 on for the giveaway on Friday. So I finished that one. You guys should get those accounts soon. Let me check up on that for last week's winner. It was the worst movie I've ever seen. Phil defrauded. $80 on 4 for me. Yeah. We laughed for a good 30 minutes during the movie live because of how stupid it was. So this is a new form. So this week's form is separate from the other giveaways. So every week is a separate giveaway. So feel free to. How long does it take? It should be like a day or so. Yeah. Sub quad. Earnings season starts this week. Yep. Yeah, I saw 28 years later with my girl, and I'd say the first third of the movie was like a good zombie movie. And then it just got weird. It got so freaking weird. There's also this thing in like, I just hate this trope of movies where like the plot depends on the characters being just dumb. Like it just relies on the characters being dumb. And yeah, I for so much like the scene when the soldiers are like running away. So and these guys are like loaded, right? They've got, I don't know, from the amount of bullets they were spraying, like each of them must have had at least 6 mags on them, right? So I'm just thinking like, and they get overwhelmed, and I'm looking at the scene and it's just not believable. I'm like, how are these guys getting overwhelmed? Like they have enough bullets. Like the people who live here are smoking the zombies with bows and arrows, and these guys can't kill these small horde of zombies. And then why don't they just shoot the super zombie in the face? No one just is like, you know what? Instead of shooting the super zombie in his pectorals or his shoulders or his arms, maybe I should just shoot him in the freaking face. Maybe that'll kill the zombie. Instead, the plot was just like, let's just watch the dumbest people ever try to survive. That's basically what the movie was. And it's like, let's partake in the observation of some survivals in an apocalypse. But we're not going to follow the smartest. We're not going to follow the best and brightest. We're going to follow some of the dumbest people that have probably ever been born. And that's the movie. So, yeah, it was not good. It was not a good movie, to say the least. Last Friday winners. I'll check on that after the stream here. Yeah, 28 Days Later is a classic. Like, I highly recommend watching 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later is good as well, which is why I think everyone was so excited to see 28 Years Later. And I don't know. Actually, what it was, so the movie itself is actually, it's a coming of age story in the zombie apocalypse, is what the movie actually is, right? So if I actually gave it valid critique, it's a coming of age story, very obviously, following, a young man's, basically just like getting hit with reality, like many coming of age stories. But then, yeah, everyone's an idiot, including him. He's also kind of stupid. But that's really what the movie is. It's just a weird coming of age story, I'll tell you that. Let's look at some other tickers while these things grind it out. Platinum. Weekly. Am I in last Friday winners? I'll have to look. I'll have to look at the message I sent. I can't remember. I will have to look, guys. Share the stream, though, if you can. Like it. Help a brother out. Once I have, so I'm trying to think of how I would do this. I need to get a team. Nonetheless, forget that thought. I'm building out. So for anyone who's not familiar, I'm the co-owner of America's #1 podcast business, right? So we produce many of the largest podcasts that you guys all consume. I've literally met probably half of the people, if not more, of whoever you're thinking of. We're building a new space, which is pretty cool. And in that space, I'll have my new office with my permanent streaming setup, which I've mocked up some designs for. It's going to be pretty sick, but I'm going to have cameras in like every corner, every angle, which will allow me to be on more consistently. But yeah, part of the reason I haven't been on is just because I've been running the business. Now we're doing the move. We're moving the move. There's a lot going on. But yeah, if you're in Miami and you want to make some content, get help with your content, if you're somebody watching and you're curious how to monetize your content, things like that, help with branding, building funnels, SEO, lead gen, getting closers, all of those things related to a business and more, we can help you out. We can help you out. But I'm excited though. It'll be sick. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be me. So I mentioned that if this is flagging, it'll probably come up retest like the 50 fib of this 4 hour. So we did that initial impulse. Obviously, there's 3.5 hours left on this candle. What I was really thinking was going to happen at the same time, which is really my only hesitation now because it didn't play out exactly as I wanted it to. So that side, this thing did what I expected very quickly, right? This is important too in candle formations. When you have enough chart time, you'll start to know how these candles form. Okay, so obviously this is a 4 hour candle. The reason that I mentioned that this should fill up to here pretty quickly is just due to straight up chart time. Okay, how these candles close, I don't know. But like that initial impulse, you kind of just get a feel for it after a while. What I was expecting was also going to happen was that this would crack VAL like it did, but then also traverse this, and so that they would sync up a little bit more than they are. They're still not synced though, which is just annoying. So we just have like a B day, right? In terms of the quality of this session, it's just a lower quality session. It's fine. Doesn't mean there aren't trades or opportunity, but because I trade the indices and they're desynced, right? And I know my best trades are when they are synced, okay, or when I can anticipate the syncing, then objectively, this isn't one of those days. This is hard for a lot of people to contend with because of ego. They go, well, I can still guess what's going to happen. Well, that's not what we're saying, okay? I obviously can guess to a degree what's going to happen. It's more so how much leverage, how confident am I to put on heavy leverage on a trade, right? Because we're under the VAL, because we're under where most of the volume is. This is a key thing as well about what these levels actually mean, right? The value area high and the value area low. Okay, within these bounds, okay, is basically one standard deviation of all of our volume. It's set to 70%, one standard deviation is typically 68%. Nonetheless, so most of our volume on ES is inside of these two purple lines. We are below that. That's really, really important, okay? NQ has a completely different narrative. NQ is actually at the price where most people have participated in this session. So the stories of these auctions, right? The market is an auction, right? People are competing for prices. If I'm someone wants to go long, I want to buy low. If someone wants to go short, I want to sell high. The stories are completely different. And so as an index trader, this is like, it's key, right? I say these things kind of like it's just whatever, but it's actually really freaking important, which is why I'm highlighting it, right? So where you are in the auction relative to these nodes is critical, right? You will get smoked otherwise because, one, this is getting more normally distributed, so it wouldn't be weird for this to traverse this range. And because this is in the middle, it wouldn't be weird for it to traverse its range the other way, right? You should expect these auctions to get traversed. So we want this divergence to, go away more or less, so we have a better setup. How can you eliminate some of the noise? Well, you just keep zooming out. Just keep zooming out until there's less noise. That's how you do it. Okay, 8 hour, for example. Nice top wick there. And you just find you want to find the highest time frame that has confluence. The lowest, highest time frame with clear confluence is really what you're looking for. Makes sense? Hope it does. If not, well, so I'll explain it later. It's not legit unless you've done Hawk Tua. I've never met the Hawk Tua girl. I think her 17 minutes of fame have ran out. But her name lives in infamy. We're still saying Hawk Tua to this day. Own setup's always been chef's kiss. I do miss the outdoor vids, though. Miami's a pretty place. I'll do some more stuff outdoors. It's just production-wise, a lot of work. I certainly could. I mean, just do more of the some more of the mindset stuff, or I could even do some trade. It just takes way more time to, if you can imagine, film outside and do that type of content. Takes a lot of effort. Whew. I think last Friday winner's not announced yet. I definitely did it, I think. But I'll check. Conquistador, top of the morning. What's up? Welcome to the fray. I'm actually about to jump off here because I have an 11 o'clock meeting. I need to discuss my company's ad strategy with my team who's running ads for us. Which, by the way, so we created got distracted by the charts here. What was I saying? We created a course teaching people how to start studios. So if you want to get in the studio business, we just launched it. It's actually my buddy, so he's the founder. He's the original founder of the company, The Move. His name's Andrew Loringer, great guy. Known the guy for like 14 years. But yeah, he was teaching a few people how to do it, and then he turned that into a course. So if you want to check that out, hit me up. Start a studio in whatever city you're in. It's a pretty fun business. But yeah, I gotta go talk about that here in a second. Let's see what happens on this 8 hour here. Any last minute questions, thoughts for me? I do have to run. I will be back on, what is today, Tuesday? Thursday. So for my Discord squad, I'll be back on Thursday. I'll be streaming on YouTube a few other days. Come check it out. But I'll come pop in on Thursday. I'll try to stream a little bit more while Soul is taking a much needed vacation. And then August, I'm going to turn it up. Turn it up. All right. If there's no questions, I'm out of here. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. let's keep building this thing. Um, if you know anybody who's like-minded and wants to join our community, definitely invite them. Okay, they won't know unless you tell them. It's a crazy idea, I know, but a lot of people don't understand that concept. So, see y'all on the next one. I'm out of here. Watch this 8-hour chart.